Hi everyone, I'm Randy Arrington and welcome to the 58th episode of Page Valley Livin'. We're here today in the gymnasium of Luray High School to talk with the boys basketball coach Matt Huff about their hot run this season and getting ready to go into the postseason in just a moment. We'll talk about that buzzer beater victory on Friday night over the rival Page County. We'll talk about some of the players who are making up this special team and the coach's outlook heading into both the Bull Run District Tournament this week and the Region B Tournament for next week. We're going to talk hoops right here with Coach Matt Huff in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Whispering Pines Assisted Living is now accepting new admissions. Quality care at affordable rates, professionally trained staff, memory support, and short-term respite stays are all offered by Whispering Pines Assisted Living, powered by Valley Care Management, where home and heart meet. Call for a tour today on Leakesville Road in Luray or learn more at valleycaremanagement.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here in the gymnasium again of Luray High School talking with Coach Matt Huff. Coach, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I wore burgundy for you today. I wore
Yes,
some blue for Coach Parker, so I'm wearing burgundy today. Got some of my hokey gear out, which helps serve two purposes for me here in Luray. Well, you know, we got to start this interview. There's only one way to start. We got to talk about the buzzer beater on Friday night in front of a packed gym to beat your rival. That is what every kid dreams of.
Oh, absolutely. If you play basketball at all, you know, and you have a basketball goal in your backyard, you go outside, you know, in the summer, and if you're like some of us when we were younger, even in the winter, you'll go out, and that's what you do. You dribble up and you shoot it, and it's a game winner, time running down. I mean, it's every kid's dream, man. We do it all the time in the backyard. I know I did it. I'm sure he's done it 1,000 times, knowing his parents. So, yeah, it's every kid's dream, and to beat your rival like that, it's just really special.
And I bet not only has he dreamed about it, his dad's dreamed about it, and his mom's dreamed about it. Everybody in that family knows a little bit about,
Yes,
about
sir.
hoops. And you know, if I'm not mistaken, now we included this in the article that we wrote about the game covering it, and you told me a little story. Daggone if he didn't call his shot earlier in the day, didn't he?
Yeah, we had a pep rally, and the kids were going around and they were asking different kids questions, and when they got to him, they said, you know, would you rather have the game-winning block or make the game-winning shot? And, you know, without hesitation, well, I'd, make the game-winning shot. And it came to fruition on Friday night.
The Babe, I'm gonna start calling him the Babe, calling his shot there. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, the fans on Friday night right here on this floor, they got their money's worth. That rivalry game, which was the regular season finale for both teams, it was tied up 6 times and there were 11 lead changes. And I'll tell you, Coach, that has got to be some heck of momentum to beat your rival right there in the finale heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to win as many games as you can, and obviously, you know, you want to win the last one, especially a game of that magnitude that had second place on the line, and you know, going into the district tournament, you know, you want to be turning the corner, playing your best basketball, and I think we are. I just think, you know, we have to just get healthy. We've had so many guys sick the last 2 weeks that I think if we're healthy, I think we're one of the best teams in the region.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I got to tip my cap to Bulldog Nation, because not only did they travel well down to Page County High School on January 22nd and represented you guys greatly, I'm not sure there was hardly a seat left on Friday night.
Yeah, we're hoping for that maybe tomorrow night too. I know we have to travel down to Woodstock, but the fans, they've been really good all year. We've had really good crowds all year, so that's been special. It's always fun to play in front of a packed house. So anytime that you know, as a high school kid, you get that, man, the feeling is it just makes the game that much more fun.
There's been so many thrillers between Page and Luray, and Friday night was one of them to go down in the history books. And you know, that game was incredibly evenly played. I mean, both teams shot about 35% from the floor. There was only one foul shot missed between both teams all night. Turnovers were very, very close to the same, but both coaches walked away. When I talked to y'all after the game, kind of disappointed in how your teams play. Do you feel like you guys played up to your potential?
No, and I feel honestly, both times we played them, I feel like we kind of got caught up in the whole Page-Luray rivalry, and we kind of got away from what we want to do. And offensively, both games, you know, we didn't shoot the ball very well because I think we took some shots that were a little bit outside of our offense.
Yeah.
Because again, you get kind of caught up in some of those emotions in those big games, and that happens. And hopefully we can calm down and relax when we play them again and shoot the ball a little better.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, again, it was a competitive game both times, but when you went down to Page on the 22nd of January, you lose by 8. What do you see as being the biggest difference between those two games?
Well, I mean, in that game we gave up, I think that was the most points we gave up all year. We gave up like 71 points, 73 points. I mean, defensively, we were not in tune, and really our defense has been really good all year. We've said if we can hold teams to 50 points or under, we have a chance to win the game. And, you know, our last several games against some teams, good teams, you know, Central, Page, I mean, we've held those guys in the 40s. So defensively, if we can do that, I like our chances going forward.
Well, you're right. I mean, because that was, I think it was 73, and that was 73-65 was the final, and that was the Panthers' season high.
Right.
You know, the most they had scored all season, and you know, we're going to talk about it in a minute. You guys have got to face them again tomorrow night. I should mention for our crowd watching that the 58th episode of Page Valley Living is being filmed on Monday here on February the 17th. And of course, Page and Luray will be playing the 18th. We're going to actually air this video. You're going to be watching it on the 19th. So that game will have already been played in the semifinal round of the Bull Run District Tournament. As we said, that is going to be Tuesday night with the 6 o'clock game being Page and Luray, and then later that night it'll be number 1 Central versus number 4 Strasburg, and then of course the winner of those two games will meet up on Thursday night for the Bull Run District Championship. Kind of a shortened version this year where they've only got 4 teams heading into the district tournament, and all games are being played pretty much at the same location over at Central Woodstock. We're going to talk playoffs in just a moment. That's right, playoffs, and not only just the district but Region B as well, where the Bulldogs going to fit in and who they might be playing when we get to that point, which of course will determine who will then go on to the state tournament. Can the Bulldogs repeat? We'll see in just a moment. We'll talk about that and much more, but first, another word from our sponsor.
Hawksbill Assisted Living in Luray is now accepting new admissions. Hawksbill Assisted Living, powered by Valley Care Management, offers quality care at affordable rates, professionally trained staff, and veterans aid and attendance. Come visit Hawksbill Assisted Living, located near the beautiful Hawksbill Greenway in Luray. Call for a tour today or learn more at valleycaremanagement.com.
Hi, everybody. We're back again in the Luray High School Gymnasium talking with Coach Matt Huff. And, Coach, how many seasons have you been with the Bulldogs now?
This is my 7th season.
Your 7th season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I know in the early days you had some ups and downs, but I'll tell you, from last year's run at a Region B champions, you're the defending Region B champions, went on to the state tournament. This year, you're in the mix. You're in that at least the top 3 in the talks of repeating or getting that title again and going back to state. And then next year, you guys are going to be pretty good. What's been the key to this sort of turnaround and the upward swing of this program?
Yeah, obviously the players. Not that I didn't have pretty good players a while ago, but the key to this group has been together since they were in elementary school, and they've been playing, AAU and pickup and all types of stuff since they were in elementary school. And when I got here and they were in middle school, they were coming open gyms.
Wow.
So and I invite all the kids, elementary school, middle school, all the kids that go to Luray and are going to go to Luray are welcome to any open gym we ever have. They're always allowed to come in and shoot and get shots up and get work in at a young age. So those guys did. They've been together. They've stuck together, and that core nucleus. They just kind of, and they're really, some of them play other sports too, but they're just their IQ as far as sports goes and basketball and everything is really a lot higher than what I've had in the past. I mean, these guys really. they study, they watch a whole lot of film. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the network
Yeah.
too. So, you know, we're watching film, they're telling me stuff that's already happened, and I'm like, well, you know, if they're watching film like that and learning the game, I mean, it makes my job a lot easier.
And there's a lot to be said for chemistry. I mean, you know, to play with a guy for years like that, to be able to anticipate what he's going to do with the ball, where he's going to go,
Yeah.
man, that is next level.
Yeah, it is, and you know, of course we design it too where the guys know where they're going to be, but then you also have guys, you know, kind of like Blake Jenkins, that sometimes he surprises everyone with the pass that he makes that, you know, you didn't even know. I didn't even know that guy was there open, and he's made the pass, and you're just like, oh, wow, okay.
Like when he goes behind his back.
When he goes behind his back, behind his head, yeah, some
You
of
get a
those
little
things,
tight on those sometimes,
yeah.
don't you? Like,
and he
"Oh."
looks at me, he's like, we're good. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. You've started for me for 3 years. I got trust in you. You know, so yeah, but those guys, they know where each other is, and they just find each other, and they feed off each other. You know, it's not like if, you know, even on nights when other guys are off and one guy's really going, I mean, they feed off of that. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like oh, he's scoring 20, you know, because if you have any of that selfishness, any of that doubt that creeps in on a team, you're not going to win.
Right.
You know, I don't
Right.
care how good everyone else is, if that cohesiveness is not there,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit of selfishness thinking, oh, I need to score because
Yeah.
he scored, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
But these guys don't. I mean, you know, these guys don't. They don't care. You know, if we win,
Yeah.
let's go. And that's fun to coach.
Yeah, that's exactly what a coach wants, just going for that W and no superstars or show-offs or anything like that. Well, let's talk about Blake. Let's start off talking about him. I want to go run down and talk about several of these fellas because you got a special group this year. Blake is a senior. He's a leader on the team, and I still don't think he's reached his ceiling.
I don't either, and I'm hoping it comes out these next couple of weeks. You know, as time's winding down for him, I hope it comes out because last year he was, my personal opinion, he was probably in the playoffs in the region playoffs, and he was probably the best player throughout. You know, and I'm hoping that he can turn that switch again this year and really flip that switch because he is the leader. You know, he's the catalyst. I mean, if he goes, you know, we go. I said that last year, and I'll say it again this year. You know, when he's mentally, when he's locked in and he's just playing, we're really hard to beat. Really hard to beat.
Yeah, and of course you got second team All-State returning shooter there, Matthew Owens. He had the big shot the other night, but the one thing I would say about Matthew is that shot aside, he's due. He's been a couple of the games I've seen in recent weeks. He hadn't had the stroke that he's had earlier on. But this might be the time for him to turn it on.
Yeah, and he's been sick too, and that's affected him a little bit.
Okay.
You know, that'll, you know, when you're sick like that, it'll throw your shot off a little bit, mess with you. You know, your whole timing and everything gets thrown off, and I think it's affected him a little bit. But I mean, you know, he's about I think he's like 16 points shy of 1,000 right now. So he's
Oh
like
wow,
right
I
there
didn't
on the
quite
cusp.
realize that.
Yeah, he's
just a junior.
He's a junior. Yeah, he's 16 points shy. So I don't know if that's maybe crept in a little bit if somebody said some things to him, you know. But he's right there. But he hopefully again, now that we're in the tournament time and things get heightened, because he's not afraid of the moment. You know, it's not like he's afraid of the moment. Those big games really mean nothing. He's going to come perform. So hopefully that sickness is all out of him and he flips that switch too and can start knocking down. You know, because if you notice, he shoots it from deep.
Yes,
and
he does.
He can make it from deep, and I think some of that has affected a little bit of him. So hopefully now all that's gone, and you know, let it rip, man.
He surprises me because when the defense comes up to the line and they're guarding that arc, I mean, he doesn't mind if he's 3 or 4 or 5 feet back.
Yeah.
He'll launch it.
Yeah, and he can shoot it from
But
there.
the thing about him too is his basketball IQ.
Very high.
Him and Blake, like Blake. Like we were talking about, he'll do things that you're not expecting. But Matthew sees things on the floor as well.
Right, he does. Yeah, and he cutting lanes, screening other guys, just kind of doing a little bit of everything. But the thing with Matthew, really, that the difference from last year to this year, I see, is his defense.
Okay.
His defense has really, really, really gone from where, you know, he was a guy that we kind of last year, you know, hid a little bit in a sense. And now this year, you know, there's times where we're saying, hey, you know what, okay, we're going to give these guys a little break. You can go guard the best player, and we don't lose anything. I mean,
Right.
So his defense
Right.
has really gone from average to really good.
Yeah, and the other member of your scoring trio, most nights, is another junior, Connor Hilliard, who you're going to get back again next year. And Connor he hasn't maybe led you that often in scoring in particular games, but he's fairly consistent.
Oh, super consistent. Averages was right around 12 points a game, and is like right there, second in rebounding.
Oh, wow.
Second in assists, steals. Leads us in blocks, I believe. I mean, so he's like the stat. He covers all the stats.
Right,
the blocks,
right.
the assists, the rebounds, the steals. He goes that whole. Not just scoring, and then of course defensively, we also ask him a lot of the time to guard the best player as well. So he does everything. So he's what they call a stat sheet stuffer. That's
right.
That's his. He does it all, man. There's really nothing that he doesn't do. He can attack the rim, can shoot the three, the mid range. I mean, he can do it all.
And of course, but all three of them returning from last year's regional championship team. Where you lost seniors last year is you lost two guys down in the paint, so
Right.
you lost some height and all. But I'm gonna tell you, I've told you this before, but I think one of your most improved players from last year is Jay Fry.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely the most improved. And now we're able to throw the ball to him some to score in there. And now it's opening up our outside a little bit and helping our offense move a little bit. And he's coming along defensively, and he's been our best leader.
Yeah.
I mean, the game against Rappahannock the other night when he was sick and didn't play, you could tell defensively we were missing him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's talking, he's
yeah.
communicating, he's
Yeah.
doing a whole lot of things, leading, pumping our guys up. I mean, he has been incredible, and really stepped up and helped kind of embrace that role. I'm hoping he takes it a little bit further now
Yeah.
that we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has really been definitely the most improved guy without
Yeah.
question.
Right next to him is Riley Benson. He's giving you some good minutes as well.
Riley has, and I tell you, it's been. Riley has battled the flu for about a month,
Oh my gosh.
and he's had a knee injury probably since the beginning of the year.
Oh, wow.
Probably shouldn't say that, but he's had a knee injury that we'll have to get looked at after the season that he has
Okay.
just fought through. And with all that, he still goes out, and I mean, he's all over the floor. He's rebounding. He does everything.
Yeah,
You know, and he can step out and shoot the three.
Absolutely.
So, honestly, I'm kind of now that you kind of know all that. I'm next year. I really feel like is going to be a year where you really come back in a year and you're like, man,
Right.
Riley Benson, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
kid's healthy now. I mean,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been, and those two guys really have stepped up, especially here of late, to really replace those guys.
Right.
And now that it's tournament time, I'm hoping that, man, again, just we take that step forward again.
Yeah, and you got those starting five. You got two seniors in there. Jay Fry's a senior. You'll get, Riley Benson's a junior, and Hilliard's a junior, and Owens is a junior. So you got a good core coming back next year. But I'm not going to go through the whole roster, but I want to talk about one more guy, because not only do you have a pretty solid starting five, but you got a great sixth man coming off the bench who really can be explosive in moments. He's shown it multiple times this season. That's Aiden Haddock.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, he and as a sixth man, he he's a guard, and he comes in and plays multiple positions. Most of the time he's the first sub for Jay. So he comes in. Now we're moving Riley to the 5, and he's playing the 4, and then Jay will come back in, and now he's moving to the 3 and to the 2, and so he's had to play a whole lot of positions. But yeah, he gives us that extra spark, that extra gear, especially attacking the basket. And here of late, he's starting to make shots from the outside.
Yes, he is.
And you add that gear to him too, and yeah, man, I feel like with all that, when all that just comes together, if it culminates in these next 2 weeks, man, look out.
Yeah, I tell you, I know why they wanted to make him QB1 on the football team. He's got a lot of athleticism.
He does.
He's all
Super
around
athletic.
good. Well, let's wrap things up talking about the postseason that everybody wants to talk about. And as we said, we're going to be airing this on Wednesday on the 19th. So the Page game in the semifinals is already going to have been played. But as you go back and see them again, and in a moment we're going to talk about the fact that you could wind up playing them a fourth time again in regions. But your thoughts on going into Tuesday night?
Yeah, I mean, Tuesday night, just really, hopefully, defensively, we continue to do what we've been doing lately and holding teams, to 50 points or below, and offensively, hopefully we can go in and eliminate that whole Page, Luray, hype rivalry, and just play basketball and play our style of basketball and shoot the ball better than 30%.
Right.
We shoot better than 30%. We're going to be a handful. So.
It'll be an interesting game because I think both coaches are expecting their teams to step up. And y'all both get hitting 50 or 60%. Boy, we'll have a high scoring game.
Yeah.
But and I hate to downplay the district tournament. Everybody wants to win the district tournament. Of course, it's another trophy for the trophy case. But it's going to get real when we get into Region B playoffs.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to be the following week. And you were telling me earlier that you think you guys are locked into a number 3 seed.
Right. Yeah. So we're locked in at the 3 seed in the region. 1, 2, and 3 already locked in. Central at the 1, Buckingham at the 2, and then us at the 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are kind of, they're really close in points. So there's a couple of games tonight that have some effect on that. And one of those games could put us against Page again on that first round of that region.
3 versus 6.
3 versus 6.
And that's exactly what I was thinking could come back around. As you head into this thing, I mean, some of the names are going to be obviously in terms of who people are looking at and projecting, but who do you think is the hottest team right now? Who do you most fear to play? Central or Page or Strasburg or?
Well, really, I want to go. I mean, we don't fear any of them. We want to go play all of them.
All right.
Because Central beat us twice.
Right.
We had them in here. We ran out of gas. We want those guys. Page, we haven't really played very well against those guys. But I say all that, and I don't want to get in trouble. I say all that, but Central and Page and Stewart's Draft, those are 3 teams that can win the region.
Sure.
So. I don't want to play those guys, but at the same time, you're going to have to play those guys at some point, somewhere, in order to win the region. So, but I think those are, in my personal opinion, I think Central and Page and Draft, along with us, are probably the 4 favorites. Coming out of Vegas for the odds.
Well, let's talk about the Falcons for a second. When you go down there and face them, you had pretty much the same result that Page had when they played on that court, if I'm not mistaken. Well, they had won on the road, but they had lost by 20, I guess, at home. You guys lose by 22. But when you played them here, it was single digits.
Right.
And so what was the difference in those games, and how do you think you can attack the Falcons and be successful?
I really liked what we did defensively against them. I really liked how we guarded them defensively and really slowed down their paint touches. And really made them shoot more from the outside, more jumpers, contested jumpers. It was just kind of, that was another one of those games where we again didn't shoot the ball very well from the outside as a team, and that's kind of been a thing. Whereas if we're not shooting the ball very well, sometimes we struggle to score, but our defense was good enough to win that game. Like I said, I think we were up 5 or 6 with about 3 minutes to go, and ran out of gas, and that was where. Again, we had 3 or 4 starters that were sick, that were battling it, and you could tell down the stretch that they didn't have any gas. And I probably should have subbed a little more earlier, but they were playing good. And basketball is a game of flows, man. Game of runs, and they made the last run, and that's what won the game for them.
Well, last question, Coach, and I'll let you go. And I thank you very much for your time today. This time of year, you've seen all season, you've seen your team grow, you're going through some obstacles, you're fighting illness and things like that. But right now, when it comes down to almost next week, it'll be win or go home.
Yeah.
What is the key to being successful in this postseason?
For us, really, it's going to be about taking the good shots, continuing to share the basketball, keep our offense spread, attacking the basket, sharing the basketball, and taking the good shots. Sometimes in some games we got caught up and we took the first shot and not the best shot, and with no shot clock, we don't have to take the first shot. We want to concentrate on taking the best shot, especially when it comes down in the postseason, really working the ball, getting that best shot, making the defense work a little bit.
Right. And plenty of chicken soup.
Plenty of chicken soup, yeah.
Get everybody healthy.
And Gatorade and rest.
Well, there you have it, folks. As we said, we're filming here on Monday, February 17th. Tomorrow night on the 18th, the Bulldogs going to head over to Woodstock to take on the Panthers of Page County in another rematch between these two rivals. The winner of that will then go to the Bull Run District Championship on Thursday, and I'm probably not speaking out of school here too much. The tape will get me if I'm wrong, but likely against the Falcons of Central, who's the #1 seed. The Falcons, I believe, are 19-3, yes, I believe, on the season, and one of the top-ranked teams in the state. So likely that's that championship game will be in Woodstock as well, played on Thursday night at 7:30. They're going to play the boys JV championship at 6 p.m. on Thursday. So you might want to get there early if you want to catch some of that action. And then the championship game, hopefully, we'll have the Bulldogs. Since I'm wearing burgundy, I have to say that. I said, go Panthers
yes,
when I was
sir.
wearing blue.
Yes,
so go Bulldogs with the burgundy there. And Coach, thank you so much for your time. And the best of luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for our 58th episode of Page Valley Living. We want to thank Eleanor Arrington out there for all her work behind the camera today and in the editing room. And make sure you share this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. Till next week, make sure that you go down to the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. Until next week, I'm Randy Arrington saying enjoy that Page Valley Living.